To the people who think modern is an insult, the stuff that we talking about is factually where we are as people right now.
Yeah.
So when you call somebody modern or you say you're traditional, what you're doing is refusing to acknowledge the things that have happened to black people, not just in your life, because you think somehow what you've done in your life has allowed you to evade what has happened to all of us. And you haven't.
Wow.
I don't care how much money you make, family.
Yeah.
What's actually modern is that black women have had to stand on their own in roles that they probably shouldn't have had to stand in. And black men have been attacked and kept from the roles that probably would have allowed our black women to be soft. That's a fact of where we are, not nobody's opinion. So when you call somebody modern, you calling somebody knowledgeable of the current circumstances of our community.
Of the current circumstances, what about now?
If you refuse to change, that means you're not the man you think you are. Because a man knows his surroundings and adjusts accordingly to survive and keep the best interest of his people at the forefront. You're not modern, you missing the point, bro.
If you're not modern, you missing it. Because that is current. What is happening now?
First of all, making a choice to be traditional versus modern is simply that, a choice. And second of all, we're not refusing to acknowledge what happened to black people. We're actually acknowledging what actually has happened to black people in real time. Look at modern men versus traditional men, modern women versus traditional women. This is acknowledgement of the differences between the two groups of people. And with all that being said, traditional men and traditional women are more about family, and modern men and modern women are all about themselves. And what we all presently are is in a counterproductive, self-serving space. That's acknowledgement for your ass. And you say, what happened to black people? Well, what has happened to black people in the last 20 years is exactly why we're having this conversation. Modern men and modern women are actually the result of what has happened to black people. I wrote down some notes. Modern women are more free thinking, more sexually liberated, aren't looking to get married, okay with simply having babies out of wedlock. And because of all this, modern women are complaining about men seeing them or looking at them as less desirable. All of this is pointing us in one direction. And that is, we as a group of people are moving away from family and away from marriage and away from intact family units. And this is what we are choosing to do. And we can't blame this on nobody else, because these are all choices that we are making. We have the choice to do whatever we want to do. Life today is easier and better than it's ever been. We can literally pull out our phones, order a car to take us wherever we want to go, order food from anywhere, and almost order a whole person to go out with on a Friday night, Tinder or whatever else. We're on this planet to pair bond and build families together, not live independently of each other. And then with modern men, because I talked about modern women, modern men are fundamentally weaker in every way and are totally okay with being partners with their woman instead of leaders of their woman. And let me ask you a question. Is it really that we're refusing to change, or is it that we're refusing to give up on family? That part right there. We're refusing to give up on families. We aren't refusing to change. We're refusing to give up on family like y'all are. So none of this is an ignorance of what's going on. It's actually an understanding of what's going on and our refusal to live within it, because it's counterintuitive of our nature and biology. We aren't supposed to live independently of each other. And keep this in mind. The three things that I take from modern men and modern women is independence from each other. Everybody thinks they can just do things on their own without the other person, which is stupid. 2, counterintuitiveness. And 3, the lack of presumed or understood roles within relationships. You know, they talk about partnership like a man and a woman is the same. All that is just dumb, in my opinion. Okay, now we get to the good part, the victimization of women. Women love to be victims of circumstance, right? So he says,
what's actually modern is that black women have had to stand on their own in roles that they probably shouldn't have had to stand in. And black men have been attacked and kept from the roles that probably would have allowed our black women to be soft.
If you are a single person and you don't have any children and you are a sound body and mind, you can just go get a job. You can work at Staples. You can work at Walmart. You can work anywhere. Go to college. You can do whatever you want to do, because the only person you have to take care of is yourself. And it's not easy, but it's not necessarily super difficult. You can get a roommate. 2 people can live in the same apartment or whatever, right? But What the majority, 90% of our women have done is multiply themselves. So now it's her and a little her, or her and a little boy, or her and two little hers. Remember, he says women had to do this and had to do that. No, they made choices, which is running around having fatherless babies. And now their lives are extremely difficult because they got to deal with another person. And in a lot of cases, mentally, they're not even ready to do this stuff by themselves, even though they did it by themselves. So are or were women forced to do all these things? The answer is no. You chose to multiply yourself and make your lives even worse. You chose to skip steps and don't require marriage before you have a baby. So now your life is harder. You chose to start a family backwards. Y'all all have kids, but none of y'all have husbands. How did that happen? Our women are the most educated group in America, but at the same time, the most evicted group in America. So all of these are choices. If you actually chose to focus on understanding men a little bit better, getting therapy, and finally letting go of your childhood trauma, because the majority of our women have been raised by angry, selfish, self-centered, vindictive, abusive single mothers. What you ladies tend to do is forget about all 16 years of your childhood trauma that you endured day after day after day after day after day. And now you blame it on men and saying men did A, B, and C to you. And we, the men you actually get in relationships with, we didn't meet you until you were like at least 19, 20, or 25. So I don't know how we traumatized you when the first 16 to 20 years of your life was with your mother. So sitting down with a therapist and dealing with 16 to 20 years of trauma, that's a lot of work to do. So instead of going to therapy for like 3-4 years to deal with all of the stuff that you endured as a child with your own mother, you choose to ignore all of that will actually put you in a better emotional position to find or receive a husband. You choose to circumvent all of that and just go to college, thinking that college is going to fix everything. But sadly, the majority of you ladies spend 4 years in college in order to make $53,000 a year. And that's high because the majority of you only make $37,000 a year after graduating from college. And most of you, after graduating or before graduating from college, you're already a single mother, which of course has made your life that much harder, which is your choice, right? We're talking about choices and options, right? And then he says,
and black men have been attacked and kept from the roles that probably would have allowed our black women to be soft.
And then he says black men were attacked and kept from the roles that we were supposed to, whatever. I've not been attacked by anybody, and I haven't been kept from anyone. So, like I said, this sounds good. Have you ever been attacked or kept from anything? No. Who is attacking and who is keeping people from whatever? If I choose to scam or sell drugs or do some crazy stuff, yes, I will be kept away from something because I will go to jail. And as far as attacking, I don't know who is getting attacked. I don't know. Bears, who is attacking us? I don't know. Altogether, we have pretty good lives in this modern society. So ain't nobody getting attacked or kept from nothing. Unless you go to jail because you made a choice to do something illegal. And lastly, calling someone modern is saying that they are knowledgeable of the current circumstances. Cool, no problem. But what you did not say is, are these modern people going to do something about the current situations in society? See, I actually agree with him right here, because the first thing you have to do is admit that there's a problem. You have to acknowledge that there's a problem, right? So modern people acknowledge that there's a problem. But what if the existence of y'all, which is modern people, the actual problem, and we are choosing not to be part of the problem? How about that? Acknowledge the fact that you, as a modern individual, is actually the problem. And now we can get somewhere. And us traditional people can start working out a solution to y'all. Because that's really it. It's not about modern versus traditional. How about we all work together and fix the problem that y'all actually are living? Y'all didn't start it. Y'all didn't cause it, but y'all are living in it. Y'all are swimming in the problem, thinking that it's okay. So the actual problem at hand is literally the existence of modern thinking people. That's really it. The beginning of coming up with a solution is acknowledging that there's a problem. And then we all work together on creating a solution. And then action steps for other people, unlike us, unlike the leaders, to actually carry out these steps. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.